This is a car we could make like new again, I can tell you. It's what we do. But for the moment, I'll come back to that. Right, okay. So, lap of the car. So, can you show me in the video what led you to first find there was water in it, please? What was the first clue? Can you actually remember that?
Yeah, well, there was water dripping into that seat.
Right, and it was... So, it was actually dripping...
Originally, yeah.
Yeah.
And,
right.
Hand on now.
Yeah, I'll go round and have a look.
So that seat is back.
Yep. Right, yep, okay. So, what were the symptoms? Did you notice anything else? Steaming up windows or anything like that? You did? Smell?
There was mould as well.
Mould as well, and smells. So, where do you suspect the water's coming from, if you had to guess?
I'm pretty certain there's a pipe that runs.
Right, yep, I think you're probably right.
And
Yep,
there's a joint just here.
yep, and it's probably that.
The lining.
Yeah.
It either needs some either replacing or it needs some filler or something.
Yeah, we'll have a look at that. So, have you seen any water where it shouldn't be? Nothing else in the car, just there, right?
Lots of compensation. But
So, what's happened so far? What have you done so far?
a repair was attempted about a year ago.
Yeah.
But over the winter, it's.
So somebody's actually made it work.
Somebody's tried to make it.
Yeah.
Repaired
And it was.
It was a lot worse.
Yeah.
But it's still.
It's not right. Okay.
In for our water leak procedure, so we're just going to show you what we've found so far. We have checked inside the car. Inside the car, there doesn't seem to be any water in any of the footwells, so that's a really good sign. So if we just focus on the first leak we've found straight away is the door membrane. So what we're going to do is we've got a lever bar down here. My colleague's just going to pour a bit of water down. So it should come out at the bottom of the door, which it is doing. But if we look closely, we can see that it's leaking here through the door membrane. What that would then cause is to fill up on this rubber. Once it fills up on this rubber, it will then go down, obviously, into the wells. So that's that one now. We recommend to do both sides because they're the same sort of age. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put a bit of water down in this little drainage section here, and then we will show you where it's leaking behind the headlining. Oh, right, okay. Right, okay, so this is the join. As we can see there, the join its actual self, you can see a bit of water. Just if I wiggle that, just here. So it hasn't been sealed properly. The problem is this one has sealant on it. The driver's side doesn't have any sealant on it. But we can see on the driver's side that we've got slightly play on there, so I would advise obviously sealing both of them there. But there we go, so we can see it's starting to leak in now. So there we go. So we'll make sure we catch that water so it doesn't go obviously on the carpet. So we've got a towel there which is catching all of that there. So there we go, so that's what we've found so far. We also recommend to clean out the cassette. Because I don't know if you can see there, but there's a lot of dirt in that cassette. So what that would do is when the rainwater obviously gathers in the cassette, it would push that down the pipes. So there we go. So that's everything we've found on this one here.
Right, so it needs a fair bit of buffing to get this paint nice and rich again. It's quite swirled and quite scratched, and the colour sort of almost helps it in a lot of ways because you can't see as much of it as I can see, if that makes sense. It's very blooming, and yes, you could wash it and it looks shiny, but I can make it look absolutely amazing. There will be a dramatic difference with this car, I can tell you that. It will be mind-blowing. I mean that, you know, you're not going to look at it and think, oh yeah, that looks shiny, because it's a long way from where we can get it. So it needs the dirt coming out of all the grooves. It's been washed for a long time, and this dirt just builds up. So it wants a good descale to get all the dirt out of these gaps, including between the badges, and the back end is not too bad, but the lights all need polishing. You got these hairline cracks in the lights. I've seen those before, and these you got them the same this side. But I wouldn't worry too much about them. I've seen them a lot worse than that. So, but the whole back end wants a real good buff. You know, all this red will come up nice and rich. It's quite surprising. It isn't faded. It's just the plastic on the outside. So these lights and the whole back end we can buff up. You can see here in the video. I don't know if you can see that, but you know, I can really do something with that. Inside's not too bad actually. Yes, we could clean and condition the leather seats, so if you want me to include that I can, but main thing that we can make a big difference on is the outside. And when we do the outside, we also give the inside a wipe and a tidy up. We give it inside windows and all of that. You're seeing that, I'm showing you that's because your door panels are off at the moment, so they've been bonded, and then you've got all this stuff around them, so that seals them when it all goes back on. So that's all good. Right, so I'll put something together. So we've got it outside, and looking at all these rubbers and that, they could do with a clean and all the dirt you saw in the video. But my main concern was, I said in the video the inside didn't look too bad, and we've had a good look at it, and the boys have been looking at it. We looked at it together. Yes, it needs a real good birthday. I think probably when it's clean you'll see a huge difference. But what I would say is that you've got a few bruises. These we can get done, but I mean there's a limit. So I'm going to suggest to you that we give it a good clean, and if you're okay with the inside then great, but this may need to go, and we've got a very good leather man that would do this, and maybe you can do some repairs here. They're not too noticeable now, but when it's like new they're going to see it. You know, you might think, oh, it looks lovely, but this needs doing. But yeah, you may want to order some wheel nuts online or something when all the wheels are like new, because the blistery bits here, you wouldn't notice that these need doing. You know, you sort of kind of look at that, and then when this is all done and these are like new, you can have the wheels in a different colour if you want, but I think looking at what I'm seeing, it probably pays to do them in the nice silver again. But you can do them in a grey. If I show you my car, there's other colours, but I would do them, if you're going to do them in a grey, that's the gunmetal grey. Looks good on, it does look good with the blue, to be honest, but you can have them done that, and it just looks a bit different. It looks like, you know, you may want to change. And I don't think it will devalue the car unless it's a super classic car that in 10 years' time might be worth going up in value. Then you'd do them in the standard silver. But if you want something that looks a bit different, it would look fine in grey. We did an Aston Martin in the grey not long ago, and it was a blue, slightly different blue, but it looked great. So this can be done when we put the coating. The graphene's my favourite coating that we do now, and you know, I'm going to do mine in graphene, but I've given you a couple of options, and the prices are the prices for the one that are lower. So have a look at those, and then let us know what you think, and then, you know, we'll make a plan and get it in, and we'll get the wheels off, get the wheels to the wheel guys, and get them dipped and done. And then we've put on there to put a coating on the wheels, which makes them so much easier to look after. Just looking at the gorgeous back of your car, I said all that lights part would all buff up lovely. So it's had 4 buffs now, and from a glance here, it looks absolutely wonderful. The reason I'm making this video is that if you get closer, you've got fine scratches in it. I don't know if you can see them there, but it's all over the car. I think it's been cleaned in its past with something we don't know, but you know, it's not brilliant. You know, most people look at it and think it looks absolutely stunning. So if you're looking at this front wing, it looks pretty good, but if you look under the bonnet there, you can see it's a bit scratchy. Can you see in the reflection there? Right, so I haven't got a magic wand. What I can say to you is that we can buff it 2 more times. We'd have to start again, meaning that we would buff it with 2 coarser buffings before, then buffing it with the 4 finer ones to get back to where we are now. That would improve it, we know it would, but I can't say for sure that it would make it 100% better, but it would improve it. It looks good, you can see there it looks good. But you know, you've got all these scratchy bits that have been done in its past. We don't really know the history of it, but you can see there you've got them in the lighting. The lighting we're using here is more critical than the daylight, so again,
and when we put the coating will fill some of those, so it will look better. But, you know, it's not going to look as good as it could do.
Porsche, this one's had a ceramic coating as well. So the paintwork isn't perfect on this. We'd like to have done that, made it perfect, but somebody's done something to it, done a number on it with some kind of machine. Now we've made it a lot better. We can make it a lot better, but there's a limit to what the cost's going to be. So we've coated it and it looks lovely, and the back lights look amazing. The back bumper looks amazing, but some of the paintwork looks a little bit scratchy because it is scratchy. Somebody's done it with something a bit too aggressive in its past, and we could wet sand it, flat it, machine it again, and we've offered to do that, and we've offered to rebuff it after that. That's what we've to get it back to where we are, but without those scratches, or 99% of them I think we could do. But I think he's going to be very pleased with it. We've had the conversation, and you know, I think it's a massive improvement on what it was. So, you know, most people wouldn't see what I can see, the scratches. So, you know, we'll see whether he likes it, and if he doesn't, we can redo it, and we'll do the extra buffing in the middle. So if that makes sense. No, it doesn't. Well, I'll explain. So it's had 4 buffs, but if you do 2 more buffs, they'll just be the finishing ones. So we'd have to do the coarse ones followed by the 4 ones to get it back to where it is. I think you'll understand. If you don't worry about it. Well, there you go. Amazing.